screen to all of you. And this is a few notes which I am going to share you at the end of our session, as I have shared you some notes for the Agile Scrum training also. Likewise, I will be sharing. So we have seen that we covered this portion, and yesterday we were up to this point, no, where we have seen how we can create our first JMeter test, and then finally all of us were able to create our own test plan. We created our thread group, we added a sampler, and then we added some listener, and then we ran the test. So today what I am targeting to focus is, will be seeing some more JMeter listener which we are going to use, and out of many listeners, so listeners are nothing but it is going to use for reporting. Today I'm not having any slide, no PPT, and we won't be having any PPT in the coming session also. It's just notes which I am referring, and this notes I am going to share with you. So here we'll be seeing some listener, and mainly these 5 listeners will be seeing, and if there is some other listeners which we can get, then we are going to check on assertion, and in assertion also this 5-6 assertion will be seeing. Then very important thing is we are going to see the test script recorder, and in recorder we are going to cover this thing. So today I'm targeting to cover at least 3 things. One is all the listeners, assertions, and then this test script recorder. This test script recorder will take a little time because you need to add some certificate, and proxy setup setting also we have to do. Okay, now starting with the JMeter. Hey, hello, hi Ramya. Hope Ramya JMeter is installed on your system. Sorry, I missed to forward you the invite yesterday.
Yeah, it is already there in my.
Okay, good. So you can see my JMeter is up, and as I am doing, all of you have to do on your system. So what we have to do is, let's click on new, and I don't want to save the previous one. I am saying no. So I'm having brand new JMeter up and running. Let me zoom in little so that you can see it properly. Little better. Okay. So as usual, what we are going to do today is, we'll be starting from, we'll be starting from here, like JMeter listener. So first JMeter listener is, yesterday we have seen view result in tree, and we have seen view result in table. So today we are going to check this 4 listeners. So what I am going to do is, all of you do it with me. Right click, add thread group, right click, add inside a thread, which is the user. We will be having a thread group. You can give any name to your thread group, maybe listener group, let's say. And important thing which all of us has to always remember is, whenever you are running JMeter on your local machine, don't give like 10,000. What is going to happen? Your JMeter will crash. You may need to restart the system also, because there is limitation of JMeter which you have to understand on your local machine, because your local machine is having restriction, either 8 GB RAM or 16 GB RAM and so on. It's not a server. Your laptop is not a server, and if you uh, the servers will be having 1,000 requests or 2,000 requests per unit of time to process. It cannot bear that much load. We will be having a different load performance testing environment, where instance of JMeter or BlazeMeter we will be running. So if you are doing just for learning purpose and all, let's restrict with 10, 15, 20, at max 30, 50. Real time, when you do some test, that time you can go with 100, 200, 500 and so on. But that also we are not going to use the GUI. GUI we will be using only for creation of test scripts, only for creation of test plan. And once our test plan is ready, we get the JMX file. That JMX file will be running from our CLI. That will be seeing in the subsequent session. So for me, I'm just giving as 5 and ramp up period as say suppose 2, which means in 2 seconds, every 2 seconds the threads are going to not every 2 seconds, it will take 2 seconds to start 6 thread, means on an average 3 threads for 1 second. Never give infinite. Okay, uh, let's give 1 or 2 iteration only which is needed. So my thread group is ready. Right click on the group listener, which is your thread group, and let's add one sampler, HTTP request sampler. What we want to do is I'm having Sandeep Maheshwari's website. Okay, I'm copying this page here, pasting it here. We don't want to put that. I can remove HTTPS. If you want to remove this default.axp also, you can remove. If you want, you can put that path here. That will become the home page. And it is having several pages also, like the persons or videos. The videos is taking us to the YouTube channel. Fine, I'm not adding anything else. It's just one get path and right click. Okay, when you are adding listener can be added at your request level, or if you want, you can add listener at your entire thread group level. So if you add listeners, say suppose at the thread group level, for all the requests, whatever is there inside your thread group, those listeners are going to listen everything. If you are adding at your request level, it will be listening only to your request. So at 2 levels, you can add different elements of JMeter. Pause me if you are finding any problem, and you feel free to share your screen anytime, your JMeter instance, and I will be helping you out. So I am renaming it as Sandeep Home, something like that. And now let's add a listener. Now view result tree we had already seen yesterday, and then one more listener. What was the listener? We have seen view result in table. These two we have seen. Okay. Let me just run it quickly. It is asking, do you want to save before running? Say suppose I don't want to save, so I am saying no. And you can see here the this is increasing, and you can see here getting as 2 error. Now once I get error, I will click and see here logs. There is something happening here. It is Sandeep Maheshwari HTTPS proxy trust only. Okay. And if we go here, you can see all this request is passed. There is some warning which I am getting. We'll be seeing that what proxy. I was experimenting something with the proxy that I will be showing later. And you can see it in the tabular format also. Yesterday we have seen, if I open any of this view tree, you are having sampler, you are having request body, request header. In the response data also you are having response body and the response header. Everything is there. Let's talk about view result in table. In view result in table, this sample is nothing but a number of user or number of threads which you want. So how many users we have selected? We selected here just 6 user, but 2 loop count was there, which means 2 iteration were there. So for those two iteration, it is 12 times. Now, if I expand this, you can see when you see 1, which means it's the user one or the iteration one. We can say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is how it is counting. So I'm having one listener group. So for one listener group, it is giving me this specific result. Label, this label will be your request. It is Sandeep Home, but when we will be having a multiple request, so this label is going to change. And you can see this sample time. This sample time is the entire time for sending a request and for receiving the response. That is known as sample time. Status will be always green for a pass unless and until you put some assertion. And for those assertion, if there is any specific, we'll see assertion. And if we do some assertion and we want to fail, that time with some limit, it is going to fail. But by default assertion of JMeter, it is passing. That's why you are seeing status as green. This is the byte which you received, and this is the send bytes. I'm increasing it so that you can see this is the send byte, and this is known as latency. What is latency? Latency means you are sending request to the server. So request is on the halfway. Say suppose request started. Are you seeing my mouse or not? No.
Yes, sir.
Yep, it's visible.
Okay, good. So say suppose my request is, so this is my this here it's my user, and here I am having server. So from user, from the client, I am sending a request and it is going to the server, and then we are getting response. So latency is the time when you start receiving your first byte. Okay, when you start receiving from server something, that is known as latency. Suppose the entire sample time is 314 in this example, and when 130 milliseconds, this is in the millisecond. After 130 millisecond, you start suppose or after 314 millisecond, you start receiving, immediately you start receiving. That is known as latency. Okay, in the notes, if I explain you, so this is 0 millisecond, and you send a request. From the 1000 millisecond, you start receiving, and the total sample time is 2000. So this 1000 millisecond can be your latency. So you will be seeing your latency, because it is a static website. It is almost the same to your sample time, but in other things where server is processing something, you can see the sample time will be more and the latency will be lesser than the sample time. Then you can have the connect time when the server got connected, and you can see still this is keep on increasing the time and all. And you can see if I click here, I can, after once my result is there, I can do the sorting like this if I click any of the column. So this is my, let me expand here, this is my connect time. Okay, now let's see another listener which I am going to add. What is next in our list is aggregate report. This aggregate report is very important. So what all of you have to do is right click listener and aggregate report, where it is aggregate report. And we don't want the previous result. So what we can do is I can click here, clear all. Everything is clear. Now again I am going to start my thread. Okay, let me save only. It is asking every time to save. So aggregate report.jmx, somewhere it is saving. Let's go inside document, training, JMeter. Yeah, let's put it here only. So see, you got 12 samples for Sandeep home, and that is the result. Now, apart from Sandeep home, say suppose if we are having one more sampler, STPP request, and now instead of giving Sandeep home, let's take this one, the person. So let me put it here, the person dot xpx. Let me add there. We'll see if it works, or we need to give slash https. I will remove and put here. Colon also will remove. Clear all. Let's start. Pass. Oh, now what is the problem? STPP request is here and your listener is inside this thing. So either I have to add other listeners here, or let's do one thing. Let's put our one listener here, or let's put our listener at the thread group level. I'm adding my listener at the thread group level. From aggregate also will be putting here, and let's rename it as person. Okay, now clear all, and let's see result in tables. Let's start. So you have seen the difference which I was saying to you. I will click it here and I will close. So if I click, it will give me the logs. If I click here in this yellow triangle on the right top corner, it is going to stop. Now, sorry, you can see for Sandeep home and person, we are having different things. Result tree is also same. Now I wanted to show you aggregate report. Let's focus on the aggregate report. What it says is this is kind of a average. So we are saying for Sandeep home we had 12 sample, for person we had 12 sample, altogether 24 requests. Average is 843 milliseconds, which means the average request took almost 843 milliseconds in Sandeep home and 262 milliseconds in person home. The median is kind of a 50%. 50% of your request, it's kind of a middle line. So your 50% of the request took almost 328 millisecond, and for Sandeep home, and 262 millisecond for person home. Now you can see something 90 percentile, 95 percentile and 99 percentile. These things are very important to see. 90 percentile line means it this much time, it took this much time, 1397 millisecond for 90% of the request to process. Means if it is 12, the 90% of 12 is say suppose 10 or something. So for 10 requests it took this much time. 95 percentile means for 95% of the requests, say suppose if you are having 100 sample, this is 100. Out of 100, 95 samples took this much time to process, not collectively. Within this time period, all the 95 samples got processed, 5% samples didn't. 99 percentile is something again very important, which means almost everything, hardly one request was there who took more time, or else majority of your requests got processed within this time. And then this is something as min 305254, which means you would be having some requests which took the least time as 254 millisecond, and you will be seeing majority of times this 99 percentile and the maximum will be almost same. And then you can see this error percentage. Okay, what is this error percentage? If you're here in your table, if it start failing, how much it is failing, that's how you are going to get the error. Now this is throughput of the server, and very interesting term. What is throughput? How can I expand? I already zoom in my JMeter, that's why. Okay, so you can see this is throughput, and this is in second, 3.3 per second. Sometimes you can see 5 per minute also. Throughput is nothing but number of requests which a server can process per unit of time. So throughput should be more or less according to you. This is one of the key metrics of performance parameter. What do you think? Throughput should be more or less for a server? Anyone? Let me pick Abhishek. Abhishek, what is your understanding for throughput?
The more it is, the more better.
The more it is, the better. Which means in per unit of time, how many number of requests my server can process. So the better throughput, the better we are having server. This is a received and this is a sent. Now let's tally also. We can see minimum as 254%. Let's go to result table, and let's filter is 250. Yeah, 254. This was the minimum. Let me do it maximum. So maximum is what? 269. Aggregate report. Maximum is 269 and minimum is 254. This is how we are doing first time. That's why I'm just showing you here, but we need not to bother about whatever they are generating is correct. Likewise, this min and max also you can see for Sandeep Home. For Sandeep Home, the maximum is 1. So this specific request took 1398 millisecond for processing, for request and response, for sending request and receiving the response. So that's how your aggregate reported. Now, why this aggregate report is important is, suppose you are a technical, you are a QA lead or QA manager and dedicated to load and performance testing in an organization where you are getting requests from multiple projects. And everyone is giving you requirement. Hey, I am having requirement for load testing, performance testing. Can you please test it? So the first objective for that person as a QA lead or QA manager is to come up with a test plan. I will come up with a test plan, and then we need to do some benchmarking. So sometimes you will be doing code refactoring or revamping of the entire application, and something is already performing in say your production environment. So in your production environment, whatever is the result you will capture, you'll keep that baseline and see, okay, how the developer is developing. And then you can decide when we do stress testing. What is stress testing? Who can tell me? Naveen, would you like to try what is stress testing? Load performance we are talking. What is meaning of stress?
The amount of like burden which we put on to any server or a system would be calculated in terms of a stress.
बहुत stress है life में. Hey, sorry, we are having Carlos and Alex and others also. So we'll do stress testing to see the break point of your server. For example, I will see if I am going to process 3000, more than 3000 requests, my server starts crashing, some requests start failing. When it reaches to 4000, it will crash. Okay, which means the capacity or capability of my server or application is not to process more than 4,000 requests per unit of time. That's for foreseeing the extreme limit will do. We are not going to do it in production. Okay, just reminder, or else you will say, you know, Sagar is taking JMeter training, and tomorrow morning you are running it on your production. So you will be having a load performance testing environment dedicated for this, and there we are going to do it. Well, so where I was saying, so you will come up with the test plan, and then you are going to say that industry standard is if for a higher load, if the error percentage is 5% also, that is permissible. Okay, sometimes if it is 10% also, it is okay, but error percentage is more than 10%, which means there is something which we need to narrow down and find the bottleneck and need to fix it. So here for just 12 sample, you are not seeing any error. If I increase it to 200, 500 and so on, then you will start seeing some of the requests which starts failing. So this is all about our aggregate report. Now what is next? Graph result. Okay, interesting one. Now what I should do? I'm adding listener at my thread group level. If I am going to add listener here, again I am not able to see for person. So this point is clear, and we can move it from anywhere, from here to here, here to there. And if I don't want to now see this tree, I can right click on this and I can disable. Hope all of you are doing with me. Just not watching video. Okay, so all of you just right click on the listener group, because randomly I can ask anyone to share the screen. So you are following me, correct? Say yes, thumbs up. Okay, I can see hands up from Shankar. Let me proceed. Okay, it's already 9:30, 30 minutes past. So not sample. We want listener. Which kind of listener? It is graph result. Okay. Now for graph result, we need to give some high number. Then only we can see graph. So let me give it 60. And in the graph, if I start doing, there are some dots which are coming, but it is Dracula view. I'm not sure whether you are able to see it or not. Let me change the view. You can see the option here, look and feel. On the top, you can see option, look and feel. Dark glass, metal. Let me put as IntelliJ. Oh, brighter one. Much clearer. This requires a restart. You want? No, I don't want. And it stops. If I go to my result table, I can see many things. And now let's come back to our graph result. So you will see we'll be having several things here, like data, what is the average, how is the median, what is the deviation, what is the throughput with different numbers, and it will keep on growing. Let me clear everything. We'll run once again. Let us go for 100. Hope so it's not going to crash. And now I'm going to click. So you are going to see when the server starts, this throughput will be low, and then this throughput start increasing. This is up. Your median will be high, then it will go low. Your deviation is high, it will go like so. how you're seeing all these things is because when you have multiple kind of requests, there is a caching mechanism. Your server and your browser is having that. So then the throughput is increasing with the same number of requests. That's why you can see this green line is going from down to up. Average is coming. So earlier average was high. Now for the same request, average is coming down. So this will give you some graphical things. If you want, you can show the error or success or this and that. And here also it will show how many number of sample was there, what is the standard deviation, and the actual throughput is 3148 request. It is in decimal also. Let's leave that. Per minute is what, and the median and the average. So this is about a graph. Do you like this look and feel more clearer? I should go back to Dracula. Okay, let us do on this only for time being. Summary report is the next one. I will disable graph. I don't want. Let me right click here, add listener and summary report. This is summary report. So in summary report also you will be seeing a different thing. Let me reduce this to 10. Okay. Let's clear all. Go to summary report and click it. So it is processing. You are getting how many sample, average, minimum, max, standard deviation, which was not in our previous aggregate report. Error percentage, throughput you are seeing. So for Sandeep, homepage throughput is 5.4, but in person throughput is higher than that. And received kilobyte is again the average of the sent bytes, and all these figures you can see it from here. You can configure also. You can configure in this particular table what all fields you want and what you don't want. And you want to save it in the XML and some other things also, you can do it. So always in majority of the listeners, you will be getting this configured. Now moving to our last one, that is simple data writer. What is this? Listener, simple data writer, there is nothing to write. Where it is going to write? So if you want, you can browse a file. In that file, it is going to write for you. Okay. If I click on browse, I don't have anything here. Let me select this file. Let us create one CSV. Where to create CSV? Document. Anyway, I was there. JMeter. This is MacBook. Creating CSV and the text file is fun here. Let me unshare and let me create one offline. And I am saving it. Save as. Test PDF. I got one CSV file with me. Okay, now let me reshare my screen. So I just created one blank CSV file. Now let Just go back to JMeter. Without doing anything, if I am going to run, what is happen? What will happen? I will get this, I will get that, but simple data writer is not doing anything because I have not added anything. So let's browse, and this test.csv I have added. So here it is blank at this moment. Possible data loss, some feature. Okay, let's neglect that, and I will say open. Now the path is given as test.csv. Sometimes it will give you error error loading result in file. Okay, ignore it time being. Let's clear everything, and now I will start. What it is saying is, you are having already existing. Do you want to append, or you want to start, or you want to override? Do I have anything? Let me open and see. Byte is 0, which means it's blank at this moment. And let us run. Maybe append to the existing one, any option. So this count is increasing, it stopped. I got all the result. Let us go to our CSV. You can see 5 KB here. The size got increased. If I double click here, you can see this result. Let me zoom little for you. Can you see? Oh, much bigger. Well, so it is the sample time, and this is the header. You can give response as okay, listener to go. So usually, and when we are doing this, it is not using your JMeter memory. So using this specific listener is very good when you are doing actual load performance testing, because directly it will write to your CSV file. Okay, and okay, now what is going to happen is, if we are saving it. See, this is save button. I am saving it, and as a person who developed the scripts, like who developed the use test cases, and now you want to do testing, the JMeter script JMX file, whichever already has been generated, you can share with your 5-6 team members. All of you can do parallel load testing in all different machines with different set of parameters, means different set of thread and this and that, or different APIs or other things, and we can proceed. Fine. So this is what I wanted to just tell you about listeners. We are done with the listeners, but let's see if we are having something else in our bucket. So listener is there, backend listener, assertion result. When we are learning assertion, we will be seeing assertion result. You are having summary result also, mail visualizer, save responses to a file, that also will be seeing. You can save entire HTML page or anything. Bench shell listener, if we are aware how to do bench shell programming, we can do it. At the time of regression also, we can have this listener. And apart from the standard listeners which you are seeing, you can see in the content which I shared, there is something known as plugin manager. And with the help of plugin manager, we can have more listeners here. I will take a pause here just to listen from all of you. Like, shall I proceed? Are we going good? Is everything being executed on your system? Just thumbs up, yes, no?
Sagar, you have changed the order of your request that while you added, I think, some listener. You change, yeah. So why did you change? I did not observe that change. I think
This
the
order,
view results table. Yeah, you changed that request order.
I change this ordering of the listeners you are saying?
Yes, yes.
We can add it anywhere. So it is at the root level, and when it is at the root level, all the request in the root level is there. So this listeners are going to applicable on this. Now say suppose, for example, it's a very good question and we can get that out. I am clearing everything. Okay. Now what I am doing, this view result table I am moving inside Sandeep home. And we can enable also. I will enable this. Earlier it was disabled. This I am moving on inside person. Graph is disabled. Suppose this is also disabled. I will disable this one. And aggregate summary, and this is at the listener level. Now everything is clear. If I am going to run the test, you will be seeing for view result tree only person related request is captured because it is listening just to for this HTTP request. If I open view result in table, only Sandeep home it has captured and nothing else. If I go to
I think during that time, I think you kept inside that request, I guess, that result, that listener. I guess that's the change. I did not observe that. Yeah, I got it. Question clear.
Yeah, now you got it. It's a very good question. And then if we are aware, not only at the thread group level or at the request level, and it's not only just the listener, there are other elements which we have not seen or we don't like assertion, timer, test fragment, config element, pre-processor, post-processor, logic controller. All these things, like majority of them can be at your can be at your thread group level or your request level also. Good. You asked me this query. Anyone having any further query, or we shall proceed?
So, in general, what kind of report you recommend? Like, is it up to the user's experience, or which one
No.
you would recommend?
So what I would recommend is to have this aggregate report, that is 99 percentile, 90 percentile, min, max and all. This is one thing. If you want to debug on any specific things, then we can have this graph, this thing where you can see in detail. But the more number of data you are getting, it is increasing the load and memory of the JMeter. That's why it is just for debugging purpose. So this view result tree I won't recommend. Simple data writer is recommended because it is just writing on the file. It's not at all using your JMeter memory. Summary report, aggregate report, all these things are okay. And in the tabular format, when you want to see, you can have a view result table also. Again, it depends what is your test plan. If there are 10 APIs, you want to do comparative analysis, and for those 10 APIs you are running, and you can see it in the view result table also. So depending on our requirement, we will choose, but more popular, if you ask me, that is this aggregate report or a summary report, and better way is to write it in the simple data writer kind of thing.
Okay, I guess for circulating of your performance report, I guess aggregate and summary would be
Yes,
more.
aggregate
Yeah.
summary summary are good enough. And then we are having many other listeners, as I say, when we will see the plugin manager, those things also we can include depending on what we are testing, because we can test many things. It is just one sampler yesterday and today we are doing, and that sampler is HTTP sampler. This one. This is what HTTP request. But if we go here and see, we have many samplers. Not only this, we are beyond this also with the plugin manager. Plugin manager means external plugins if you want to add, because it is going to make your again JMeter heavy. That's why the basic is this, what is been by default. But we can have a bench shell sampler, or when we are going to do FTP testing, or when we are doing LDAP, or if you want to do the for any, suppose you have written one API, that API you are thinking, okay, it is bottleneck and this is taking more time. So you are talking with the developer and you are asking, hey, what is the SQL query you have written? So you are going to go and you are going to create this sampler as JDBC request. And if it is select statement, You are going to put this select statement and you are going to run it. So we'll be seeing this JDBC request later, but there are many.
Okay. I think this is for performance of that query, right?
Yes. So there are many things which we can do with JMeter. Like one of the things is what I just told.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, thanks Ramya for asking. Any other queries, guys, before we proceed to assertion? So there are 5-6 assertions which we want to cover, and we are having 12 more minutes. At least we'll start with assertion. So I don't want this to, I'm going to disable, and say suppose this I want to put it at the group listener level. I'm putting at group listener level, and I'm clearing everything. And let's start with the first simplest assertion, that is response assertion. And this is used mainly to check the request and response. When you do some automated testing or JUnit and all, there also we are doing assertion at assert equal, assert true, not true, and all those things. Let's see how we can do assertion. So right click here, add, and in the add, sampler is there, logic controller, preprocessor, you can see assertion. There are several assertion, and first assertion is the response assertion. Okay. In the response assertion, you can see what is the response you are going to get from a server, either text or some response code. There are many popular response code which we have seen, like 200 OK, response message. In the response header, what will be there, request header, all these things you can do. You can ignore the status if you want to. There is a regular expression also, whether you want to see whether it contains, it matches, it's equal, substring, not, and all. So I'm just having response assertion and not doing anything and just trying to run it. I just added simply. Okay, reducing it to 5. I am running. Here response assertion, nothing is there, everything is passing. Okay, now let's say response code, and I am saying it equals patterns to test, add, and here I am saying 200. Okay, without cleaning, if I am going to run, the results are going to add on here. Everything is passing. Why everything is passing? Because if I click on this, and if I see the response header, I am getting 200. Okay, fine. Now let's come to response assertion and let's change it to 201. Okay, I am doing 201. Now let's clear everything and start failing. Why it start failing? Response is 200. Okay, you are expecting. What is the result? Result is, sampler result is 200. Okay, and request body was this, we were putting to Sandeep Maheshwari, and in the response assertion which I am seeing, I am not getting much thing. Here also everything is failing, and if we want to go and see what is the problem, so to see what is the problem, we are going to use listener, which is known as assertion result. Okay, now I'm giving assertion result as my listener. So you can browse, it can put those result in a file, or it can log the display and all. Let's start once again. See, now in the assertion result, everything is failing. What it is saying, Received 200. Comparison is 201. Got? That's why it is failing. Okay, everything got failed. So with the help of this, if you know when to get 403 or 500, all those for different samples, we can add this. If I go back and put it 200, everything is going to pass. Fine. So likewise, we check with the response code. If you want, you can check with the response message, and if that response message contains something that you can see. Now, say suppose my response message should contain Sagar. Whether it can contain Sagar, let's clear. Test failed, message contains Sagar, Sagar is not there. What to do? Can it contain Sandeep? Let's see. Sandeep, clear, run. Again, it is failing. So I am saying my response message. Now, what is response message you are getting here is that is response data, and the response message is something else. We have to see. So Sandeep Maheshwari is coming in the response body. Maybe something like document text text response. Let's select this text response. Clear and test. Okay, everything is passed. I think you are getting Sandeep Maheshwari and Sandeep on that page in the response text. Now, let's see for JMeter. It start filling because nowhere here JMeter is there. Correct. So likewise, in the entire page, you want to see some successful. Say suppose you are doing some airline reservation, and at the stage number 4 you want to get some confirmation that successful message will come, and that body of the successful message you can just copy from here to here exactly that message, and you can come to your response this thing and you can paste it whether you are getting this or not during this phase and run it. So result is coming. So you can see it's passing, it's failing. Where it is passing, it is passing in the person, it is failing in the Sandeep home. Because from where we copied from the person. So this particular text is from Sandeep person, but not from Sandeep home. Okay. If I go here in the result, you can see all the person passing, but the Sandeep home is failing. So this is like one of the assertion which we have seen. Now we are having duration assertion, size assertion, HTML, and so on. That because of the time, we'll do it tomorrow. I am going to unshare my screen, and I want someone to show who is going to share. Let's select someone. Naveen, would you like to share? Or Mukeshwar, anyone? We'll just run quickly one of the assertion. Or on volunteer basis, anyone, before we wind up. Just share your screen, we will do it fresh, very fast. Okay, Mukeshwar. My daughter is crying, no problem. Can you go to option and zoom in little? Zoom in, yes. One more time, zoom in. Yes, one more time zoom in. Okay, and go to option, and that will make some bright screen. Option look and feel. Yeah, first option look and feel. First one, top one, yeah. Make it IntelliJ. Yeah, this is also fine. At least little better. Okay, you are in the assertion already. Okay, yes. The item. No. It will restart. No. Click on no. Click on no. I was saying no. Okay, no problem. That's fine. So it was not saved. If it was saved, you can open. Click on open. There is a button. Okay, let's do very quickly. Just right click on the test plan. Zoom in little. Yes, zoom in little. Carlos, can you please extend? I will see why my daughter is crying. Just a minute, on mute. Okay, I'm back. Cancel. Right click on the thread group. Yes. Right click on thread group, new sampler. HTTP request. Click on HTTP request. Okay, in the server name, can you change some other look and feel? Still, it is not very good. Let's try. Go to option, look and feel, and change to IntelliJ. Click on option. Who is sharing, by the way? I think Mukeshwar was sharing and his screen got freezed or something like that. Okay, guys, so we are almost done for, yeah, I think, yeah, that was the reason. So we are done for today's session. Just practice all these things, and anyway it is recording and going on the Teams. If you have any doubt, just watch the recording and do it. So tomorrow we are going to uh, check on the remaining assertion, and then on the HTTP recorder, and then few more things. Thanks everyone. We'll meet tomorrow. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.